NBA basketball is finally back. We have a full slate of games ahead of us, the first full day of the NBA season. I'm super excited for it. You guys know what's on the way here. 3 best bets. I've got 2 player props. I've got 1 Moneyline Parlay. This is the free 3. Let's get into it and let's have a great NBA season. Let's go. What's up, guys? It's your boy Noble Living back with another DYF Bets video where I'm breaking down my favorite picks and plays of the day. I just try to get to the bag together and make some money. I do apologize over missing a video over the last few days for my people who are consistent and tap into the channel. It's been a crazy few days for me. I do apologize. My goal is to always give out plays, but sometimes I just can't get behind the camera to give out videos. But overall, we still have the Twitter, we still have the Discord group, we still have ways that we're giving out picks and plays. So make sure you guys are going to the description below and looking at all the different platforms that we have and following us on there. And I'm going to give you a quick recap. Well, it's going to be a little bit of a longer recap because it's been a few days since we've had the video here, and we've had a lot of action going on, right? Over the weekend, it wasn't our best weekend. Not gonna lie, a little bit of regression was due. We went 2-3 on Friday. We cashed in on Peterson's earned runs the first quarter over in the Lynx and Liberty, but then we did lose on Collier's points. She also blew the parlay for us as well. And then Peterson's pitching outs, we got hooked. So that was Friday, a 2-3 day. Saturday, crushed on college football. And the beautiful thing about it is I thought it was really good reads, but a little bit of regression was due in college football as we were like 20 games above 500 on that one. We started off the day strong with Shoes pass yards for Louisville, but then Clemson got backdoored on the spread. Indiana and Texas State money line parlay. Texas State blew it. I don't know why I put them in there. Bama on the spread, just Georgia win was a fluke. And then the teaser, we got Georgia points right, but Cal, again, that was another team that was more of a backdoor cover there, so they end up winning the game, but did not get us down to the -4 that we needed them to win. So 1-4 on Saturday, and then on Sunday, I gave you guys 4 quick winners, 2-2 on the day, but again, that was just a heartbreaking because we could have easily went 3-1. We cashed on the Eagles and Bengals moneyline parlay. The Texans and Bills teaser we got right as well. Daniel Jones pass attempts, he would have hit if he didn't get benched in the 4th quarter, so that was annoying. And then Devontae Smith's receptions, that was just, never really had a chance because Jalen Hurts was only throwing at A.J. Brown. So overall on the weekend, we went 5-9. So not the best weekend, but it certainly could have been a whole lot worse. Monday Night Football, I gave out 4 picks, really split it 2-2. I gave that out in the Discord group. We're not going to count that towards the channel since I didn't really put out a video or anything on that, but we did split on the Monday Night Football games. And then yesterday, we gave out a graphic here on the YouTube page and on Twitter and everything as well. We went 2-1 to start the NBA season, so not too shabby. The Knicks and Celtics under, never sweat there. We just knew that shit was cooked as soon as we saw the Celtics were not missing a single damn shot. So nothing we could do about that. But the late night game between the Lakers and the Wolves, we were able to get the 3-point props right. Naz Reid over 1.5 3-pointers made. We got that done. AD 1+ 3-pointer, got that done. So 2-1 yesterday. That's what we need to do. So I know that was a lot of recaps that I gave you. Look at our year-to-date record right now. We've had the profit margin eaten to a little bit into the month of October, but so far we've still been doing pretty solid, especially in college football. Still 18 games above 500 there. 2-1 to start the NBA season. Still undefeated in NHL. So a lot of things that we can build off of, but we've got a full NBA season ahead of us now, friends. So let's get into these winners. I know you're not tired of hearing me yapping. Smash that subscribe button. It's a marathon, not a sprint. We're here every single day giving out picks and plays. So let's get into these winners for today, and let's start off the NBA season the right way. Good luck to you guys this year on the hardwood, and let's have a great year. For my first best bet of the day, we're going to go with a first player prop. I'm not going to lie, guys. If you guys have been tapped into my channel for the last year, 2 years that we've been doing these videos, then you know there's certain players that I like more than others, certain players that I bet on a little bit more consistently, and these are one of the guys that I'm going to go with because there's a lot of changes that have happened in the NBA in the offseason, a lot of new rosters, a lot of new players and new locations, and there are going to be some coaches and different schemes that are implemented as well. So it's just very important that the first few days of a season, you take your time. Don't go all out. Don't smash. Don't hammer. Because what are you hammering? We don't even know what's going on for real, right? Everybody was on LeBron's assist yesterday. He didn't hit it. So it's just, you got to take it a little bit slow at a time. And for me, there's a few guys that I'm taking a look at where I said the line's a little bit too low. I'm still playing it for about a unit and a half, but I'm not going crazy. The first person is Mr. Tobias Harris. He's in a new location this year with the Detroit Pistons, but it is a place that he's familiar with playing because he was playing for the Pistons earlier in his career, and we're going to go over 15.5 points, minus 115 odds. Now, Tobias Harris is not a person that a lot of people will take a lot of bets on, and I get that, but Tobias is somebody that is used to being the second, third option on a team, sometimes being the number one option on the team like he was on the Pistons years ago when he first played there. But this is the thing I like about Tobias Harris. Last year, he averaged 17 points per game, despite being the third and sometimes fourth fiddle to Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid, sometimes Kelly Oubre, some of the other players that they would have step up. And Tobias Harris was still a guy who was able to get his points. Now he goes to a Pistons roster that really does not have any like major superstars. They have some solid key pieces. Obviously, Cade Cunningham's in his third season, so we're expecting some big things out of him now that he's been more, familiar. He's been playing great ball up there in Detroit. He just really hasn't had much help, but this is the type of player in Tobias who can give him some help that can help them win some games this offseason. They were able to pick up Malik Beasley as well. You love to see that. Then we've got Jaden Ivey, right? He was there last year, so we're expecting a step up for him in his second year. Asar Thompson right now is injured, so that should mean a little bit more minutes for Tobias Harris right now, a little bit more volume. Obviously, you've got Jalen Duran there, the center. They added Tim Hardaway as well to help support the bench. So these are guys that I'm looking at, and it's not a star-studded team. But this is a team where one day you're going to have Cunningham give you 30. One day you might have Tobias give you 25. You might have Jaden Ivey pop off for 20, 25 one game. So any different guy can help you here, and 15.5 points is just a little bit too low for a team where Tobias Harris is going to be the main guy shooting besides probably Cunningham, right? Now, also, I love the fact that they're playing the Indiana Pacers. Now, we know that the Indiana Pacers were a team that surprised a lot of people last year. I think they're going to surprise a lot of people this year with Pascal Siakam being there for a full year. Great key pieces that they have in Halliburton, Miles Turner, but we know what they like to do. Push the pace, push the offense. They're not looking to play any defense, and that's the reason why we have such a high total in this game. The total's at 234 in this game. Last year, obviously, we saw what the Pacers were able to do towards the over to start the season. Now the books have adjusted, and they know, okay, the Pacers are not looking to do that, but that means more opportunities for the Pistons on the other side to score a lot of points, and Tobias Harris is a guy who can feast with this. If you look at his numbers last year against the Pacers on the Philadelphia 76ers, so obviously a different squad, but still kind of similar sample size and similar opponent who had the similar caliber players. 4 games he played against the Pacers in the regular season, 19 points, 24 points, 18 points, 22 points, okay? So for me, he went over this total in every single game that he played them last year. No reason why he should not be able to do it again today on a team where he doesn't have to share the rock as much, where he should be able to have more freedom and volume to do whatever he wants against a Pacers team that's exactly the same in terms of roster and what they're trying to do in terms of push the pace and push the tempo. Tobias Harris, 15.5 points. That's just way too low for me. He is a bona fide scorer in this league, and to me, he's the best professional that you can get paid the max money, but expectations are not really that high, right? So for me, Tobias Harris, I'm expecting a good season from him. I'm not saying he's going to be an all-star or anything like that, but 18, 19 points per game, that's what you can do in the modern day NBA, even as a role player, even as a number 2, number 3 option on your team. Tobias Harris, 15.5 points, way too low of a number here against a Pacers team that's not going to play any defense. Give me this as our first best bet of the day. Now, for our second pick of the day, another number that looks a little bit low against a guy who consistently went over this number last year. We're going to go to a late night matchup between the Phoenix Suns and the LA Clippers, and we're going to go Mr. Bradley Beal over 3.5 assists, minus 130 odds on Caesars. So I know it is a little bit juiced. I would play this up to about minus 145 or so because I still like this number. 3.5 is the number though. If it goes to 4.5, you can play it, but you need to be getting like minus 105 plus money for that. Now, Bradley Beal is a guy that when he was acclimated to the roster last year after all the injuries that the Suns dealt with, right? We know they had the KD stuff. He was out for a while. We know Beal was out for a while. Devin Booker was banged up. There was just a lot of question marks around that team. And I was watching an interview with Bradley Beal in the offseason. He made a good point. He said, if we had our big 3 playing the entire season, we're competing for a number 1 seed in the West. And you know what? He's absolutely right. Obviously, the lack of chemistry and the camaraderie there was exploited in the playoffs. I mean, that's just, what happens when, it's just everything's on the line. But during the regular season, this is a Suns team that scored a lot of points, top 10 in offense and points per game. And Bradley Beal was a guy who really stepped up in that point guard role because that was the big question mark with this team. Who was going to play the point guard spot? We saw Devin Booker to start off the year try to do it a little bit, but it doesn't really come natural for him. We know what Devin Booker is from a scoring standpoint, off the dribble, things of that nature. Bradley Beal stepped up really big in the assist role, and that's why he averaged 5 assists per game last year. And when you look at some of his numbers, there were streaks where he was getting 9 assists, 6 assists, 7 assists. He was averaging 6 assists per game in the month of March. He was averaging 5 assists a game in the months of February and January. So this is a guy where they're asking me to get 4 assists with everybody now healthy on this Suns roster. I like them. I like the fact that they're playing an opponent today in the Clippers who are super banged up. Obviously, a lot of question marks around that team. No Paul George. Obviously, it's James Harden there. Kawhi, he's done for however long again. So for me, this is a team that Bradley Beal, they brought in Tyus Jones, who's going to help out with the backup point guard role. But this is a spot for me where it's like Bradley Beal knows he can get to a shot. He's a bucket, but he's also been looking to facilitate more. And I think that this is just a great spot for him. 3.5 assists is way too low for a guy who was averaging 5 assists last year. And the Clippers are a team that defensively, we know what they try to do, but they've lost a lot of those defensive pieces like Kawhi, like Paul George. Now you've got Norman Powell starting. Nothing wrong with that. He's a great scorer in the league, but he's not a defensive guy. Same thing with James Harden, right? I mean, Terrence Mann's a great defender, but he's somebody who has to step up big time. And then coming off the bench, they've got Kevin Porter Jr., they've got Chris Dunn, they've got Amir Coffey, they've got Bones Highland, Mo Bamba, who's out for this matchup. None of those guys are staying in front of KD. None of those guys are staying in front of Devin Booker, and none of those guys are staying in front of Bradley Beal. So this three-headed monster lineup here, anybody can get a bucket. But now when you start driving and kicking, and now that you've had more time with this Frank Vogel offense to get more acclimated, a full offseason to play with each other, a training camp, I like this here. I like Bradley Beal over 3.5 assists. It is a little bit juice, but it is a number that cashed in pretty consistently last year, especially in the late half of the year when the big three played the majority of their games together. I'm taking this one as our second pick of the day. For our third and final best bet of the day, we're going to go for a quick Moneyline Parlay. 2 teams that should get it done on this Wednesday card, and it's the Cleveland Cavaliers. It is the Houston Rockets. You parlay those together, gets you to plus 100 odds. Now, don't overthink it. Now, the Cleveland Cavaliers, they're taking on the Toronto Raptors. They are on the road. So if you do want to do a home Moneyline Parlay for teams at home, like the Rockets are at home in this matchup, then you can put the Atlanta Hawks in there. If you want to put all 3 of the teams to get there, it gets legal at plus 180 odds or something on there. But I like the Cleveland Cavaliers because this is a team this year that I think can make that next step up to maybe fight for an Eastern Conference Finals chance. Are they top of the East like everybody's talking about, like the Bucks, like the Sixers, like the Celtics, like the Knicks? No. But that does not mean that this is not a team that can't compete, because they're a team full of dogs. Obviously, Donovan Mitchell, we know what he can do. Darius Garland, we know what he can do. Evan Mobley. Jarrett Allen is finally healthy. If he was healthy last year in the postseason, they said a lot of things would have been different. Who knows, right? The big person that is missing for them right now is Max Strus with an ankle injury, so he should be out for a few weeks. But overall, this is still a team that is really well built. They have all these guys that played with each other for a while. They've got Karis LeVert coming off the bench. We've got George Niang. We've got so many different players here that can really cause a lot of problems. And this is a Toronto Raptors team that I don't really think is going to do too much this year. Emmanuel Quickley, okay. Grady Dick, let's see what he looks like in his second year. RJ Barrett, he's supposedly out for this game with an injury, who's probably their second overall best player. Scotty Barnes, cool. It's your team, my man. Bruce Brown, he's out with an injury. Kelly Olynyk, he's out with an injury. So they don't really, this is not a Raptors team that on paper to me is going to make a whole lot of noise. For me, it's the Cavaliers to get it done today. I know they're going to be on the road, but if you're going to be a playoff team, if you're going to be a team that's expecting to fight for Eastern Conference championships, making a run to the NBA Finals, I'm not saying that's where the Cavs are right now. They might have to make a few trades in the trade deadline to finally put everything together. But this is a team that has played well together over the years, and they've been able to keep that young core of Mobley, Allen, Garland, Mitchell together. And I think this is a team that's going to be be able to win pretty easily today. Now, on the other side, we've got a Houston Rockets. Speaking about a young team that looks really good, they've been able to really shock a lot of people last year with how good they played. And this offseason, they were able to add Steven Adams to help bolster that backup center position. But Fred VanVleet, Jalen Green just signed that major extension. Dylan Brooks, we know what he does from the villain role. Jabari Smith, expecting him to take some more strides up in his second and third year. We've got Sengun, who's probably one of the best overall big men in the league. They've got a lot of pieces. Now they're taking on a Charlotte Hornets team where, again, we don't know what to expect out of the Charlotte Hornets. Are we expecting them to win any significant games? No. Are we expecting some highlights from LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller? Sure. Miles Bridges, I'm expecting some great performances from you as well. But there's nobody on this team that's going to move the needle. Trey Mann, Seth Curry, Cody Martin, right? Josh Green, Grant Williams, Mark Williams, who is out for this game, Nick Richardson, Taj Gibson. Like, who are these players we're talking about here, right? And I'm not saying that they're not going to win some games this year, but this is not the Hornets roster that is going to be able to shock a lot of people. That's going to make a whole lot of noise. So we're really just fading two teams that I believe that are going to be in the bottom of the Eastern Conference in the Charlotte Hornets and the Toronto Raptors. The Houston Rockets and the Cleveland Cavaliers, both of these are playoff caliber teams. Both of these teams are teams that can be able to make a push. And when you know, especially the Rockets, when you're in a very competitive Western Conference, you cannot lose games to the Charlotte Hornets. Same thing with the Cleveland Cavaliers. When you know seeding is going to matter, and obviously we're just getting this season started, but 82 games is a long time. Not when a quarter of those 82 games are against the Knicks, against the Celtics, against the Lakers, against the Suns, against the Nuggets. These are all teams that will cause problems for the Rockets and the Cavaliers if they're dropping games against teams that they should be able to beat pretty easily. So that's what we're going with today. We're going to go with this quick money line parlay, Rockets and the Cavs, to get it done today. Don't overthink it. If you want to throw the Atlanta Hawks in there as well, I'm not opposed to it. They are at home, but you know the Hawks are one of those teams where you gotta be a little bit worried because you never know what type of Hawks team that you're gonna get. They do start off the season as well today against a Brooklyn Nets squad that they should be able to beat pretty easily. Well, that's it for me today, my friends. Real quickly, 3 best bets that I've given you guys on this Wednesday card. We're going to go with Bradley Beal over 3.5 assists. We're also going to put Tobias Harris in there over 15.5 points. And then a quick money line parlay between the Rockets and the Cavs at plus 100 for day 1 of our ladder leg challenge. If you want to throw the Hawks in there to get to plus 180, I'm not opposed to that. And if you stayed all the way to the end of the video, I know I said I'm not really doing a whole lot of bonus bets, but a bonus bet for you, Scoot Henderson over 17.5 points and assists. In games that Scoot Henderson played in, when Shaedon Sharpe did not play, because Shaedon Sharpe is out in this game, he went over this points and assists total in every single game. And I think it was like 23 games as a sample size or something like that. So that's a 100% hit rate last year against a Warriors team that might have a lot of question marks around them, especially defensively. I like that today. That's a 4th bonus bet for you guys that we're taking on this Wednesday card. Appreciate all the love and support. Smash that subscribe button. Let me know below what you're taking. The comments really help us build the channel, get some more views. I appreciate all the love. Let's get after that money, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Later, guys.